Management transitions. A very important factor to take into account when you are an investor in a mining company. An abrupt transition can be a red flag, as potentially there's a problem either with the management or with operations in the company that are leading to management to be either pushed out or leave voluntarily, but do so abruptly. But on the other hand, a pre planned succession plan is just part of normal operations for a company. Hi, my name is Tim Lee, and I'm a geologist and mining equity research analyst. And on this channel, we're focused on metals, mining, and investing in metals and mining companies. We've spoken previously about the importance of people in a company and particularly the management team. This is one of the most important factors to evaluate when you are considering an investment or if you're already an investor in a mining company. Now, management consists of people, and people age or they move on or various factors for why they make moves in their careers. And this is something that you'll see press releases with companies. We've recently had a couple of examples with major gold mining companies and very different news on the same day, coincidentally, relating to their chief executive officers and the transitions in that management. First, on September 29th, 2025, Barrick Mining Corporation, which is one of the largest gold mining companies in the world, announced that the company's board of directors had appointed Mark Hill as Group Chief Operating Officer and interim President and Chief Executive Officer effective immediately, following the departure of Mark Bristow. Now, Mark Bristow is stepping down as president and CEO after nearly 7 years, having joined Barrick following Barrick's merger with Randgold in 2019. Mark was the CEO of Randgold. He was the founder of Randgold and had grown that company from scratch to a successful, sizable gold mining company with operations in Africa. The press release here from Barrick goes on to say that Mark Bristow led the successful integration of the two companies and during his tenure made significant investments in their assets to better position Barrick to maintain profitable gold and copper growth. They have had some successes during that time, but they've also had some setbacks. And we'll get into that a little bit here, a little bit further. Meanwhile, it does describe Mark Hill, who has been with Barrick since 2006. He knows the company well, and he's played various roles in the company. And he would serve as the interim CEO, while the search committee of the board, chaired, it says, by Brett Harvey, has embarked on a process with the support of a leading executive search firm to identify a permanent president and CEO. Now, the company, as I said, has gone through some challenges, particularly in the last couple of years. And one of these is involving their mine in Mali. They have a sizable mining operation, gold mining operation there. And that has run into some issues. Mali had a political coup and a political military coup, I should say, and had brought in military junta to run the country. And they implemented a new mining code in 2023. And it is a little bit challenging for some of the existing companies operating there. However, some of the other companies that operate in the country had come to agreements with the government on their operations to allow them to continue operating. But Barrick pushed back more, apparently, and then the government pushed back on them. And earlier this year, Mali basically said that they're taking over Barrick's operations in the country. And Barrick had to implement a big $1 billion write-off relating to its operations there, which had accounted for at one point 15% of their gold production. Now, there's an article in mining.com that says Mark Bristow's shocking exit shakes up Barrick leadership. Obviously, this can raise some red flags, and analysts were concerned. Some saw it coming, however, because these problems with Molly in particular were already known. They did see that, hey, maybe a management change is coming soon, while others were a bit surprised by it. Mark Bristow had previously said that he would like to stay with the company at least through 2028, which is the expected time when their massive Reko Diq copper gold project in Pakistan is expected to come online. There's one quote that one question is whether this will lead to bigger changes at Barrick. A new CEO could bring a new strategy in Mali at Reko Diq or for the portfolio overall, but it also brings some uncertainty for the company, particularly as they don't know who's going to be the CEO in the long term. Please leave a comment below about what you think about Barrick's news. Is this unexpected? Is this negative news or positive? On the other hand, on the same day, September 29th, 2025, Newmont Corporation, which is the world's largest gold mining company, also announced a CEO change. According to their press release, as part of the company's long term leadership succession planning, the Tom Palmer, who has served as the CEO since 2019, will resign from its board of directors and as CEO on December 31st, 2025. Natasha, now her last name looks like Viljun, but I believe the Dutch pronunciation is something like Viljun, as president and chief operating officer currently for Newmont, will succeed Palmer as president and CEO and will also join the board of directors on January 1st, 2026. Palmer will serve as strategic advisor until his retirement on March 31st, 2026, to support a seamless leadership transition. Now, Natasha is relatively new to Newmont. She's been with the company since 2023 in her current role as chief operating officer, but she does have a long career in the mining industry, largely with the Anglo American Group, which is one of the world's largest mining companies. Now, this transition is quite different from Barrick's news. While Barrick announced a very abrupt transition, Newmont here is announcing basically the retirement of their CEO, who's been there for quite a while and had a successful career overall in the industry, and the appointment here of an experienced executive. This is what we often see and what we see as a normal positive transition in executive management at a mining company. Natasha has significant experience, as I mentioned. She's only been with the company for a couple of years. This is an internal appointment, obviously. Sometimes you see external appointments as well, and that may not be a negative sign, even if the person hasn't worked in the company before. They may have significant experience, very relevant experience, and success at another company. Newmont's news also did not affect the stock very strongly. Newmont here has made an announcement of an expected and orderly management transition, and that would be seen as normal course of operations by most investors. I will say that even though Barrick's news may be seen as negative and quite abrupt, the stock price really didn't respond very strongly. And again, some people in who follow analysts and investors may have seen this coming or may have expected this. In some cases, they may even consider it to be a positive after some of the challenges that the company has run into. Maybe they believe a leadership transition was necessary. Now, for both of these, This was an announcement of the departure of their chief executive officer, obviously the senior most management position in the firm. And, maybe seen as the most important position, and generally would be considered that. One other important position that you'll see transitions that need to be careful is the chief financial officer. An abrupt resignation by a chief financial officer can certainly raise red flags, as it could for other senior management positions as well. But I would highlight the chief financial officer. Sometimes the departure of a chief financial officer very abruptly could signal problems in the company, particularly financial problems. And we've seen that before, where after an abrupt resignation by a chief financial officer, the company then comes out with news that there are some internal financial problems, even accounting concerns, and so on. So that is something to also be very, very aware of when you're following these companies. My name is Tim Lee, and I'm a geologist and a mining equity research analyst. Thank you for watching the video today. And please check out our other videos as well. We will continue to talk about metals, mining, and investing in the metals and mining space. And we may also take a look at other natural resource spaces as well. Please leave a comment below if you'd like us to take a look at any particular companies or particular topics of interest in this space. Thank you for watching.